So if you haven't heard it by now, allow me to be the one to tell you. Pastor Keon Henderson, I believe lead pastor of Lighthouse Church in Houston, Texas, if I'm not mistaken. They just recently had a situation where their church went through a devastation, man. Kind of ruined some of the property there, and they were in a building process. He came out and, a lot of people had questions because obviously there's insurance that you have on a building like that. There's insurance that most people have to cover those things. So it's like insurance will help you reinstate you. But the one thing about insurance is we're just going to reinstate you. We aren't going to leave you better off than where you were, but we're just going to get you back to where you need to be. So apparently, this gentleman, Pastor Keon Anderson, had different agendas that he said that he spoke to God about, and God gave him the authority and gave him the word to pretty much tell the people of his church and honestly people in general, because he had it broadcasted on the internet, to do what you're getting ready to hear him say right now. Now, I actually had a couple of concerns. I know churches, how they are and how they can be, and especially as we keep moving on and what the black church is turning into, and it's it's unfortunate, man. It's very sad. Let's get into this clip. Let's hear what he had to say, what he was asking from his members. Here we go.
I told our church that we were going to start over. And yet again, I believe God said, Keon, your faith was too small. So let me blow the building down so you can build what I put in your heart. God gave me a vision, and he said we can do it in 21 days. I'm asking 2,100 people to give $2,100 in the next 21 days. I'd ask.
Okay. So before we hear that response, sir, that was his initial putting out. That was the initial thing that he put out. He told the church they were going to start over. And now he put the I don't know if it was like a tornado or like kind of like a storm that happened out there in Houston. And pretty much now he's blaming God for that. Like, well, God said that my faith was too small, so he's going to blow the building down, so I have to start over. And I think this is yet again manipulative tactics where it's making everything, I'm appeasing to your emotion and I'm showing you like how God works, well, I'm going to blow the building down. Bro, that is creating this angry character in God. Let me tell you something. Without faith, it's impossible to please God. And God isn't the God that he's going to destroy things so that way you can forcibly please him and go in your faith. No, it's free will. He does not want to force you to follow him. He doesn't even want to force you to have faith in him. But if you do, you show and demonstrate that, he will bless you tremendously. Why? Because it pleases him. And he will give you the desires of your heart if your ways please him. It just is what it is, man. So I don't like that part when people say like, "Oh, well, I guess God came in here and destroyed that, so that way I can." No, bro. God's not concerned with the affairs of men. It's just not. That's not. No, not at all. Let's keep this going. Let's hear his response. After this came out, of course, a bunch of people had a lot of things to say, some along the lines of what I was just saying. What happened to the insurance payment? Like, didn't insurance cover this? Like, why do you need 21 people to give you $2,100 in 21 days? There we go. Sounds like numerology to me. Something that God tells us to stay away from, and it's always this like 20 people to give 20 on 20, and it's 2024. So $2,024 to get 2024 days of blessings. And it's always this like charismatic, schemy, pyramid schemy type dialogue that goes out. And it's like, come on, guys. Like, why do we have to put it this way? Keep it real. Why do you have to bring God into your sin? That's what I'm going to say. Why do people like this have to bring God into their sin? So they can appeal to a God-fearing crowd. So they can appeal to a God-following audience. And that's going to cause you to move on your emotions and pull out your pocketbook and give $2,100 to a church, as he's getting ready to say, who has a $40 million building. $40 million building. And people got on me in my comment section when I shared that young lady's story, what happened at Transformation Church when they didn't help her, and the other 19, 20 churches that didn't help her. And people wanted to get on me saying that, oh, look at these black people complaining about not getting money, go get a job. You don't know what we have. You don't know if we have jobs or not. You don't know us. You don't know what we do. You don't know how we make ends meet. You don't know how we paying these bills. But it's a real thing because it's like those people of the church would go and reach out for the church and they can't get help. But yet these people constantly over and over asking, we need 21 people to give 21 this, 21. What is happening to the rest of the tithes and offering that's being given? What's happening to all the money that's coming into this $40 million church? What's happening? Now they want to do this huge big redesign because they want to double the sanctuary now. He wants to double the size because they don't want to turn people away. And that's their way is, oh, we don't want to turn you away. We want everyone to be able to get this and it hurts us to be able to turn away. So we're trying to build and build and build. Like they're so passionate and so hungry to reach out and go out and do them. I've seen churches not collect $4 million and still find ways to pull people in. Even if we got to run and get some foldable chairs and pull them over here and then y'all can be right there. And hey, it may be standing room only, but if you really need to get this glory, there's no way we're going to let $4 million. And let me tell you something even further. If God was really in the midst of this, there's no way God is going to allow a $4 million budget that he's trying to obtain to get in the way of people receiving what they need to receive. Now you're getting ready to hear his next part when he came out, after he just explained to the people, came out as humbly as he could, explaining to them that he needed $4 million essentially. 21 people giving $2,100 in 21 days. Now let's hear what he had to say in response to that. Here we go.
Days, I'd asked 2,100 people to give $2,100. And the newspaper did the math, and they said Pastor Henderson asked his 20,000 members for $4.4 million. Let me even make sure that that's what it equals, because I hadn't even done the math yet. Yeah, it's 4.4. I hadn't.
Bro, this guy's lying straight to the camera. Sometimes I try to give the benefit of the doubt. This guy is lying straight to the camera. And this is sickening is what it is. Are you kidding me? There's a trend on TikTok right now. If you're on the platform and you watch enough videos a day, your thumb gets sore enough from scrolling. There's a trend on there where people say, if 1,800 people give me $1, I can go and get this car. And there's usually like a humble car. Maybe it's a single mom or something. She's just trying to get a nice little good car to get her and her kids from A to B. And people will donate, people will like, people will share. And you see it in there. They tell her, hey, go create a GoFundMe. We got you. Why? Because everybody does the math. They don't just throw numbers out there. They don't. This is a business that this gentleman is operating, that Keon Henderson he's operating a business. He's not operating a church. This is a business. He knew exactly why he needed 21 people to give him $2,100 in 21 days. Don't joke with me. Don't insult my intelligence. That's not okay. And you're going to come out and say, but you had already said that God had already ordained this, that you heard God say. You said God blew the building down so that way you can get the 21 people to give you $2,100 in 21 days. I'm so sick. I am so sick of these people perverting their authority in Christ, manipulating and abusing the people of God. It makes me sick to my stomach. Let's hear what else he had to say in response to him not knowing that he was asking for $4 million. Let's keep this going.
Done the math. It was what God had given me. What I forgot to do, that I'm going to do right now, is remind myself that everybody doesn't have $2,100. And the Lord convicted me on that. And I went back and I prayed about it. And I want to apologize for not offering an opportunity for people who don't have it like that. Everybody doesn't have $2,100. The Lord said, but somebody has $21. And if you go back and read the article, they'll tell you that the building was $20 million. So what does $4 million do when you have a $20 million problem?
There we go. Okay, so $20 million. I think I said 40 million, but it's not 40, but $20 million. Still an expensive church. But I thought that was a lie here. So at first he said, and we're going to run this back. At first he said that I told you guys to give me $2,100, 21 people in 21 days. And he said, this is what God told him to do. That's the vision. He tried to say that this, I'm going to show you why he's lying. I'm going to show you how he's lying. He just said it there. If people pay attention and they're not just so lost in the sauce, it's very easy to tell when a person is lying. They're going to tell you themselves. He started off by saying that, hey, I had asked you guys to give $2,100. I asked 21 people to give $2,100. And the news outlet said that I asked for 4 million. Let me do the math. He does the math. He goes, yep. That's what it is. I haven't even done the math yet. It's because that's what God gave me. He said that, right? He tried to tell you that he didn't do the math, which was lie number one. Then he told you the reason that he didn't do the math is because God just gave it to him, which means that when he was sitting there after blaming God for blowing up his church and destroying it, he said that God told him that he gave it to him, 21 people, $2,100 in 21 days. But then after that, he switched it up and said, I have to go back now and realize because God convicted me on it and I had to go and pray and I realized that not everyone has it like that, but some people have $21. Buddy, let me tell you something. You already explained. He already explained. Oh, we're cooking up. We're cooking up now. He already explained to the people that God gave that to him, which is why he went forth and created the first video, which is this one you saw. Then he came out and said God convicted him on something that God gave him. God never goes back on his word, buddy. Did he give it to you or did he not? I think he didn't. Houston, we have a winner, and it's not Keon Henderson. This is ridiculous. It's blasphemous. Do not sow any penny into this. Do not give anything into this. This is ridiculous. This is not okay. And I'm not okay with it. And it needs to stop. That is pitiful. That is pitiful. That is a direct abuse on the people of God, in my opinion. And I'm tired of these leaders abusing their own authority or the lack thereof that they have or should have for that matter. That's all I got for you guys on this one, man. Pray for me. In regards to this, number one, as I pray for you, and overall moral, man, pray for Pastor Keon Henderson, because as frustrating as it makes me, this needs to stop. And I believe that he has a great word to give. I believe that he can lead millions greatly. But we got to stop this stuff. We got to stop the theatrics when it comes to money and raising money and building funds and all this other stuff that churches have going on these days. That's what we need to stop. The selfishness and the greed. That's all I got for you guys, man. To the next one, y'all. I'm out.